Howdy, and for the Protostome video project, I am presenting snails. Snails are an invertebrate animal. They are under the phylum Mollusca and under the class Gastropoda, which also includes some slugs. And they usually they're aquatic or land-based, and there's some distinctions between that. All gastropods have a muscular foot, eyes, tentacles, and these are like the things that stick out of the head of the snail. And that's where the eyes are located. And then torsion. Torsion is a body plan, and the body plan is where all the like organs to the mantle cavity, the gills, the anus, all point forwards in the snail or slug. Most snails have, or most gastropods have a spiral shell, and the ones that lost said shell are slugs. And the shell is typically made out of a calcium carbonate. Uh, Aquatic snails have gills and a siphon, and the siphon basically allows the snail to bring in clear water instead of muddy water. And land snails have developed a lung and lungs so they can breathe air, and they secrete mucus to help them move, so they glide. Just a little bit about snail diversity. Snails are incredibly diverse in their habitat, land or water. They can live just about anywhere. They range a lot in size. Some of them are very small, only like a couple of inches, and the largest snail species grow to be up to a foot long. And there's about 60,000 species of snails, and they're the second most diverse animal clade right after arthropods. Snails are one of the few invertebrates that can live in land or water. Land snails live in moist environments, and they can live anywhere that's below 6,000 meters above sea level. Aquatic snails can live in freshwater or saltwater, can live up to 5 kilometers below the surface or sea surface. They usually stick to mud, sand, or some kind of like flat surface. But some of them can free float, but not most. Snails, like most, or like mollusks, have a radula, which is almost like a tongue that has a bunch of tiny little teeth on it that scrapes things up. But they have a jaw that lets them tear off larger pieces of food, and then the radula scrapes it up. Snails have a lot of predators, other invertebrates, and mammals and reptiles, even small things like flies, mice, and larvae can eat at snails. They will typically all be on the smaller side. No large mammals or reptiles will eat snails. But the larger of the small animals will just sort of eat the snail whole, while the smaller ones, like the larvae and mites, will usually find a way inside the shell and start consuming the snail like that, little by little. And in order to defend themselves, snails secrete mucus that is like poisonous, or they hide within their shell, and that usually keeps them safe from the larger predators. Snails can be, it's depending on the species, but they can be herbivores, omnivores, or carnivores. But usually they either eat vegetation, like fresh or rotting, worms, other snails, they are carnivorous, fungus, and animal waste. Animals are incredibly diverse and as such play a super important role in many different ecosystems. So they aid in decomposition, so they can also be detrivores and help break things down further. They recycle forest nutrients, and because some of them consume fungus, they can spread the spores. And snails are biodiversity indicators, so having a decent snail presence will indicate that there's large biodiversity in certain environments. And then for people, I'd say they play a huge role in people's lives. Some people eat snails, some cuisines feature snails, and people like to organize snail races. Snails are actually mostly detrimental though, as a large amount of snails in agriculture can destroy crops. But overall, they're super important for the world as a whole. And these are my sources. Thank you.